Ed Montgomery. Welcome to the Master Key Club. It wasn't Master Key Class, but it's Master Key Club because it's something you can be a part of. This is what we do on Wednesday nights, or maybe Tuesday or Thursday, we don't know, but we do know every Wednesday night we want to meet you right here. And we're here live, we're here talking to you as if we're just one-on-one beyond the glass, the tubes, and all those kind of things. So welcome to our Master Key Club. You're going to like this. This gives me the opportunity to talk about some of the things that I want to talk about. Let me tell you what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about race. Ugh. Somebody said, we're going to talk about that. I thought you were going to give me a Bible study. I am going to give you a Bible study. There's going to be a lesson. But I'm going to talk about race. I'm going to talk about color. We're going to see how all of this fits in when we read scripture, when we read the Bible, and how we relate to each other. We're only a few weeks from an election on November 8th. We need to talk. So let's talk. If you were to, and I know this may sound painful, peel everybody's skin back, what would you find? Here's what scientists, physicians, research, analysis would find. That we are 99.9% basically the same. You know what our race is? Our race is the human race. It's interesting when you go out of the country and you go into Europe or Africa or somewhere else and you start talking, there are people in other countries that says, oh, you are black. No, they don't say that. Oh, you are white. No, they don't say that. Or you are Pakistani. No, they don't say that. They say, oh, you're from America. How do you know that? You know, we're different in America. We have different shades, different colors, different sizes, big, little, small, tall, wide, short, you know, we're all different. But people from out of the country says, no, I can tell the difference between our people and Americans. So when you go out of the country, you become an American. If you were to go off planet Earth and were to somehow get past Saturn and Neptune and Jupiter and Pluto and which is is a planet sometimes, but not all the time, and you were to encounter a spaceship and say, you know, we've been monitoring you for a while and watching you. So we realize you must be a human. Well, I'm black. A what? No, you're human from the planet Earth, right? You're human. I watch a lot of Star Trek. And because I watch a lot of Star Trek, I know the difference between the Romulans and the Ferengi and the Klingons and the humans. Those of you that do Star Trek, you got that. The rest of you probably didn't, flew right over your head. And so we understand that from Earth, you're a human being. In other countries on the planet Earth, you're an American. But how is it in the country we live in, we become black, white, Hispanic, Latino, Latina, Latinx? We have all of these different boxes that we can check on the census, on when we apply for something, when we fill out a form. And we realize we're all these different things, but only in America. Or should I say only in the United States? Because America is not just the United States. America is Canada. America is Nova Scotia. America is Mexico. America is Honduras. America is South America. It is Brazil. It is Venezuela. All of this is down to Chile. All of this is America. And how interesting we can have the arrogance to believing and thinking just merely of the United States as I'm an American. but we are the United States of America. So here we are. And then someone in America says, what about your accent? Your accent seems to change a little bit. I said, probably because I'm originally from Ohio. So I do have, that Ohio, Pennsylvania kind of accent over there. Not as much Pennsylvania, but Ohio, from Northeast Ohio. But I've been down in Texas long enough to have a little bit of a Texas drawl because, this is where I live. I listen to other people, and we are like that. So we are different people to different places at different moments and at different times. Why? In America. Why is that whole thing about race so interesting and so divisive many times? Well, first of all, I want you to realize we call race, and we're learning from internet, Google, we're hearing all over the place, and I'm sure you've heard the phrase also, that race is a social construct. In other words, it's something that is made up. It's something that is racism is something that's ingrained in our everyday lives. It's in government, police departments. We hear all of that. Some people say it is, some people say it isn't. But I want you to imagine something. I want you to imagine when you look at a check mark. You say a check mark. If you look at a check mark, and I'm not going to show you an example of it, but it's something that you would look at the word and it would look like the word Nike. Oh, I got you, Dr. Ed. That check mark, right? That's the symbol for Nike, right? If you saw a yellow seashell, what would that be? Shell Corporation, gas station. In other words, you don't have to write the word shell. No, you just show the yellow seashell, and we know I'm running out of gas. I need to go get some gas. What if you were driving down the street and you were hungry and you saw golden arches? You don't have to have the word. I don't even need to tell you the word. McDonald's, of course. And you realize that there comes a time when you see something long enough, that symbol actually speaks to you about what something is. In other words, you can see the check mark, the seashell, and the golden arches, and it already tells you what they are. And that's because in marketing, someone has said the same thing over and over and over and repeated it over and over and over until you begin to believe what it is. These things become the symbol of what somebody tells you that it is. I told you we was going to get into a little bit of Bible study here too, didn't I? Yeah, because when you see the word God, in the beginning, as Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. In the beginning, God. So when you see that word God, what in the world does that word mean? Oh, that's God up in the sky. That's God up in the heavens. That's God who sits on a big white chair, on a big white cloud with a big white crown, a big white scepter in his hand, beating people over the head when they get all bent out of shape. When they're good, he tells them they're going to heaven. If they get bad and too bad, he decides they're going to hell. That's how most people think of God. And notice what I said, how they think of God. And so when somebody comes up to you and says, do you believe in God? Now, they may have this thought of the white guy, of the big guy in the sky, white crown, white robe, white scepter, getting ready to beat you over the head. And you say yes. So what they're believing is that you believe or have the same image. You say they're thinking you have the same image in your head that they have in their head. Look at this. So we're like each other because we believe God is like this. So if you turned around and they says, by the way, how do you see God? God? I don't see God as anything. What do you mean? I don't see any picture of God. But God has a white robe. No, he doesn't. God has a white crown. No, he doesn't. God is even white himself. No, he isn't. God is a spirit. God doesn't have anything like that. Now you understand that your definition of God and their definition of God is different. Bring somebody else in. Bring 2 more people in. 10 more people in. Ask them their definition of God. What do they think God is? And some, I don't even believe there is a God, so I don't think have any definition at all. So there are people, you understand something. Just like the check symbol means Nike, but you don't see the word. Just like the shell symbol means gasoline, but you don't see the word shell. Just like the golden arches means fries, hot fries, hopefully. But you don't see the word McDonald's. You don't have to. The same way as God, it means something different. Not the same as the shell symbol, but it means something different to every person on the planet. Guess what? So God, or the word God, is not God's name. What's God's name? God. That's his name. No. That's not God's name. God doesn't have a name. Of course, they'll come up with Jehovah, Yahweh. We can come up with different names, but that's another class. They all mean things. God's name does not mean that's his name that his mother gave him, because God doesn't have a mother, father. What it means is his character. Character means this is what he is. But you learn about what God is as time goes on. So that becomes your definition of God. You've been taught that. And so when you see the word God, what immediately pops out is not the word God, but your definition of God. You got it? Okay. Your definition of God. And now, when you learn something new about God, when you learn, oh, God is love. Oh, God is compassionate. Oh, God is not trying to beat me over the head and scaring me with hell. Actually, God loves me where I am with who I am. God is not threatening me with hell, nor is he dangling the worm of heaven over my head to get me to bite. God is different than I thought yesterday. And he'll be different to me tomorrow. Because as I grow, my definition of God grows. So when you see the color white, or the skin tone of a person that you call white, or the skin tone of a person that you call black. Now notice what I just said. The skin tone of a person that you call white and the skin tone of a person that you call black. Neither the person that you call white is actually white, nor the person that you call black is actually black. Think about that. If you were to put a color wheel up and go from tone to tone, really, color wheel, white, black, the person that you would call white is not as white as you think. And if they stay out in the sun, some of them will get darker. And the same way with those who have dark skin. Their skin tone can change based on being in the sun or out of the sun. So white and black are really, they become symbols. Just like the golden arches, just like the seashells, just like the check mark, just like the phrase God. They become symbols of what people are taught to believe. And if you're taught to believe that white is right and black must stay back, the more you're taught that, the more you begin to believe that, or trust that, or accept that. So what do we learn today? We learn that racism and race and all of that is about definitions, how we see things. It is not in the color of someone's skin. It is how we see things. And how we see things is awareness. And awareness becomes what some people call wokeness. And what is this thing called woke? Listen, I want you to stay connected with me because we're going to go down these roads in the next few weeks as we get closer and closer to this election. Connect with me. Here's how you do it. You can call this, you can text me at 713-742-2035. 713-742-2035. And you can give something. It doesn't matter what amount you give, but it will begin the process of making you a member of a Master Key Club. This Master Key Club is going to be in Dr. Ed's place. It's going to be on our Facebook. It's going to be on our YouTube, but it's going to get even deeper in Dr. Ed's place. So don't go anywhere. Watch this, and I don't know. I might be back. I'll be back. I'll come back. But watch this. Don't go anywhere. Okay. All right. What is it when we look out in space and see all those huge planets? Yeah, I gotta admit, I have been watching all of the little spots on YouTube and things of that sort about this new, I think it's called the Webb telescope. And this telescope is looking way out into the universe. You say you believe that, Dr. Ed? Yeah, I believe it. And it's showing like our planet is sitting right on the spiral of a Milky Way of 400 billion stars. But not only that, but there are also 400 billion galaxies that have 400 billion stars each. Can you imagine how massive that is? And throughout this universe, there seems to be a flow, a harmony, a unity, a connection. I believe this is how our giving works. I don't believe we just throw giving out or we give to something because it's a good thing to do or it just helps other people. Those are good, those are great meaning things. But I also believe that what we give comes back to us. Not necessarily in the same way we gave it, but it does come back to us. How we treat each other in relationships, how we treat our children, it comes back to us. How we treat co-workers on our job, it comes back to us. How we, as you're going down that highway, that road rage, you pull back on it. So how we treat each other, it comes back to us. And I also believe that when you give into spiritual things, what we're doing, we say ministry, but actually it's service, because we help to serve others. We build bridges for people from one place to another, of bridges of enlightenment. So take a moment. You can use your text to give, and you can text the number that is on your screen. And as you text it, remember that what you're giving does come back to you. And it comes back in this phrase: good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will people give back into your life. They call it Luke 6:38. It's called reciprocity. It's called you sow, you reap. Some people call it karma, whatever you call it. I believe this one thing: it's coming back to you. Take a moment, give. I appreciate it. Thank you so much in advance. Look, these are tough times. These are trying times. These are times that we don't always understand. But let me tell you what we do understand. It's the power of prayer, meditation. Understand, meditation is the ability to hear. Prayer is the ability to call for things that we want. And let me tell you what I want to do. I want to pray for you. I want to take this 60 seconds and pray this. I call for life. I call for healing. I call for health over your life. I call for understanding. I call for wisdom. I pray that you will remain right there in the hand of God. And that you will understand God more and more. That you will grow in his wisdom. And by growing in his wisdom, you will grow in his character. Father, heal the wounds. Heal the hurts. Heal the places that are scarred. I trust you for that. Amen. I'll see you next week. Don't leave me. See you next week.